members and thugs,
guns and violence.
it's The Godfather. Welcome back to the Board Game Closet. My name's Jimmy.
I'm Rod.
Today we're doing an interactive video where we take your comments, your thoughts, your responses to us, and we're going to talk about a game called The Godfather: Corleone's Empire. Right?
You're right.
Yeah. Right. So in all of our reviews, we give them a simple 1-die rating. Buy it, play it, or hate it. Green means go buy this game and add it to your collection. White means maybe you wouldn't buy it, but you definitely play it. And then red means you wouldn't buy it and you wouldn't play it because you hate it. So we're going to give you our review right up front. Right. Spend the rest of this video talking about it. Use your comments. And then at the end,
we give them your review.
Your review. So
or your score, I guess.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about this game. It's going to be a high-level overview of the game. We're going to use your comments as we go along. And hopefully by the end of the video, you'll figure out if this is a game that you would like to add to your collection. But right at the beginning, let's give them our rating. Should you buy it, play it, or hate it?
Let's do that. And it's a white.
It's a green.
Shocker.
Green and a white. Buy this game?
As someone has it, then you just play it.
You just play their version. So let's start out with a comment then. What's one to get us going here?
Right here.
Michael says worker placement, area control, hand management, and a little take that. A little. There's a lot of take that. But he says, what else does the game really need to offer? The Godfather: Corleone's Empire is tops on my list.
So that just tells you a lot about the game itself right there, right? Because the worker placement. And like somebody here at this table loves worker placement. And some of us are maybe not as big of a fan.
Right. Buy it, play it.
Exactly. So the right there, that's where we kind of fall into our realm. But let's go ahead and start talking about like the pieces and stuff. Right? I guess we'll start off with that. All in all, it does a really good theme with the theme because it is the Godfather. So we've got gangsters and we've got, who else do we have here? We got the vehicle, the car for that's for the cops. And then we've got the
horse's head first player token,
which is awesome.
Yeah, and then each family has dons and family members that they're going to be sending out. Thugs, I guess. You got thugs, and then you have family members that you're going to be sending out to do jobs.
And the map of New York City is really nice. It's pretty neat, and the way they section off the areas is neat. I think all that is well done. So what do you think about the artwork overall with the cards and stuff?
I love the artwork. I think the artwork is great. My only critique is that there's not a ton of it. Like really the only artwork that you get is on the ally cards, because all of the job cards have the same Godfather image that's on the back of the card, that's on the box cover, that's on, they reuse the same, which is a awesome drawing of the Godfather, but they reuse it like everywhere, so that's my only complaint about the artwork.
Now, Robert actually had a little different opinion on it. Basically what he said was he didn't like the art or the aesthetics of it. And then he talks a little bit about the playing of the game, where he said the lack of variety of the jobs and the luck of, is what he say, and the luck and chaos of available jobs and avoiding conflict. Yeah. So he wasn't the biggest fan of it.
Yeah, and I think that might be the weakest point of this game. And it's not like it's bad. Like, the graphic design is good. The look of it is good. It's just, like I said, there's not a whole lot of artwork to pull you into the theme. Well, I guess the Godfather theme. Right. Right, and now there's tons of theme oozing in this game when it comes to, I feel like a mobster. I feel like I'm putting people in the Hudson River. I'm doing these jobs and car bomb. There's tons of theme when it comes to that. There's just not a lot of theme that ties it to the Godfather. The IP, movie, the Godfather,
Yeah, because we talked about this. It could easily have been, this could be Chicago, Al Capone, could have easily just gone that route. Yeah.
So, but I will say that I do think that they made the title proud, though. The game is so good, in my opinion. It's so good that it's not like they did a disservice to the Godfather name.
Well, I would agree with that. That's definite. Now, one thing that Alex said, he was basically saying how it approaches the theme. Instead of running your own family, you're pretty much a racketeer running the errands of Don Corleone. So basically, I guess I had this assumption too, was that you would be running it and that you would be in charge of this whole family and getting this thing going, when you're actually kind of just running the errands for it. which I mean, it's a little bit of a different approach to it, but you're right. The game is a good game, and it doesn't do any disservice to the Godfather theme. It's just there's not a lot of Godfather theme to it, other than like we said, the artwork and stuff.
Yeah. So let's give you a high-level overview of how the game plays, and then you can kind of decide if this is going to work for you. So in The Godfather, it is a worker placement game, and you have two different types of workers. You have a family member that you could place in these corners of division. So you've got New York City that's divided into, 8 different sections. And so you're going to be trying to control these different sections of town. And so the game has layers. The first thing is a worker placement. The second layer is an area control. So at the end of every round, whoever has the most figures in a division is going to get a control marker placed down in that area. At the end of the game, whoever has the most or the highest level, if you're the last one on and you have the most in that area, then you're going to score some money that goes. So you're trying to control this area. But then there's something else that does that's great is anytime that someone uses the other type of worker, which is called a thug, when they go to a business and they shake down the front of that business, because you have a marker controlling that area, you're going to get a backdoor benefit for free. And so that's really cool. That adds to your incentive to try to control these areas. And so the family member, when you place a family member down in a location, you are going to get the backdoor benefits of all of the businesses in the region that it touches. So this family member is touching region 7 and 5. So I would look at all of the backdoor benefits. I would get to launder money, I would get drugs, I would get a booze, and I would get a buck. And so I would get all those benefits by placing one worker down. That's awesome. And there are some locations that are better than others because maybe they touch more regions, or maybe these businesses get laid out as the game progresses. So early on, there might be a region that is way more valuable to place your worker in because it gets more benefits right away.
Right.
And so you're doing that, and then, but why are you going to all of these businesses? It's to get these items to complete jobs for the Don. And so these jobs are going to be coming out randomly, and they're placed out on the board, and those are the only jobs that you can do on this turn. And so there is a location that you can go that would get you a job, and then it tells you what you need. So to complete this job called Intimidation, I have to have 3 of these bloody money, whatever that thing is called. And so if I go on the board and I get these 3 money, then on my turn, I could say I'm completing this job. I discard it, and I discard the required resources. Right. And then I'm going to get the benefit. I get $3, and so you get the money. And then it says that I also get to add something to the board. Like this says I get to add a control marker to any area of the board. And so that's how all of these jobs work, is you're trying to get the required resources and then complete the job to get money and to do things on the board. Now, the benefits for completing a job are really, really cool, right? Like you could whack somebody's family member and send them to the Hudson. You could set off a car bomb that kills everybody in an entire region. Right. You could swap, locations. You could, I don't know what else you could do. There's all different kinds of jobs that you get to do, and they give you a benefit. And ultimately, you're trying to get money into your hand, go to the place where you can launder your money and get it into the suitcase. And this is one of the hardest and most aggravating parts of the game, is that you have all this money in your hand, but unless you launder it, then you don't truly have it, right. Which plays into the theme really cool. Another thing that you do in the game is you can get allies. At the end of a round, these allies are going to come out, which are basically extra workers that you get to place on a turn. And so you bid on those allies to try to get them, but you only bid from the money that you have in your suitcase. And at the end of the game, money is worth victory points.
Right.
And so you're giving away victory points to try to get these allies as you go along. Now, Robert said something else in his comment about how he likes the escalation of the game as it goes along.
Right.
And that's so true. Act 1 is pretty tame. Right. You don't get to do very much. Act 2, a little bit more. 3, right. 4. By the end, you get to do a ton of stuff, and the actions and abilities are bigger. Sure. You might be able to set off a car bomb and do all kinds of stuff and use these allies that can do so much more than they could at the beginning of the game. And so, like what he said, the feeling of escalation really does ramp up when it gets near the end of the game.
Right, which is what you're all building for in the game itself, is that end, that climax is going to be awesome.
So Josh says, I love taking out other players' workers and having them swim with the fishes. In this game, it was a great round when the end of the round looks like this.
Yeah.
When all those guys are in the river and that just a ton of craziness happened in the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the fun part of it, because at one point you just think you're doing really well, and then before you know it, half your guys are sitting over there in the river. So it just changes your whole outlook of what's going to happen in the game.
Yeah, because Rod says, excellent game. The more you play, the more you realize that things can go very badly for you at any time. If that doesn't scream theme, then nothing does.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, because the times that we've played, especially the one that stands out the most, it just seems like the person who was like the one that hadn't done much in our game wasn't doing much, and all of a sudden at the very end, cutting everyone's throat left and right. It was just it was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, to me, every time I've played this game, I felt like I found a different layer of it. When I first played it, I was always thinking, man, well, it's just really whoever goes last, because whoever goes last has the most control. And then I start rethinking, but man, it's really about the long-term benefits of controlling these regions, and so every time that I've played probably 4 or 5 times now, I keep seeing a different layer of this game, and it gets better and better to me the more that I play it.
I mean, the aspect of this game that it does. Well, first of all, what's the movie about? Is this the suspense, stuff that's happening in the background, all of a sudden it's leading to this big ending. That's how this game plays out. It plays exactly like that as the movie does. So that's the outstanding part. Because Mark says, very something similar to what you just read, but after nearly all my gangsters dumped into the Hudson, my friends and I never looked at each other the same. I mean, that's just cool. I mean, because that's just building the memories of the games when you sit there and play. Like we can talk about like Spartacus. This is what that kind of reminds me of, is that type of thing. We talk about the memories of that all the time. Now we have another game like that to do that with.
Yeah, and I somebody said that there was a little take that, and I guess it's all in perspective,
right?
Because for me, I feel like this game can go back and forth, and you can actually start watching people like attack each other, as somebody has to pay somebody back for what they did to them. Because really, that's pretty easy to do in the game. When somebody takes you out, you really want to come back at them.
Oh, definitely.
And if you're fighting over regions and all that kind of stuff, that's pretty back and forth.
Plus, you're checking all your movie quotes that you remember from the movie itself, and wanting to go back and watch the movies, except for the last one, of course, which was awful. But anyway, that's another rating.
Well, Jonathan, he said the same thing. He said, we love this game. The theme is so rich throughout. He said, and we kept throwing out Godfather quotes as we make big moves.
Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. Everyone's bad imitation of who was the actor that played the main character? It just skips my head right now. But anyway, we all know that the way he talked with his mumbling and stuff, it's pretty cool. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to attempt a bad impression right now. But here's this. Tom says this, which I think is telling for a lot of people. He says, it's a good game at the $50 price point, but it didn't have enough value for me at the $80 price point. And he said it won't make it to my shelf. And so that's a huge critique, but I think that that's true for a lot of people. Would you pay $80 for this game?
Well, I think the thing is, you have to remember, whenever you're buying a licensed product like this,
it's got to be more put in there.
Yeah, you're going to pay more for it. So it's I mean, that's just that's what you pay for. So
yeah. For me, I didn't pay $80 for this, by the way. But, I don't know. I think that would kind of make me step back and say, I don't know if there's $80 here on the table. But if you could get it for less than that, then I would say, man, of course, man, I think buy it. I think that the more that I play this game, and with the right people. And now I have heard some people say that they actually prefer to play this game with just 2 players. I haven't done that. And I would love to see what that's like. But they say, this guy, Tim Gay, he says that him and his wife play this game back and forth, and he says it's his favorite worker placement.
But see, the thing I like about the multiplayer is you can influence other people to maybe do stuff that you want by just talking in between your turns. Like basically, Tom over there is getting pretty powerful. You know, someone's going to need to do something about him, and I'm weak right now, and I can't do much. So some of you guys are going to need to step out there and do something. You know, so you use, you know, basically the other games, you're just using the, you know, using other players to do it for you.
Well, and it is funny because when you put money into your suitcase, you have to show everybody what you're putting in.
Right.
And to me, that's awesome because if you see somebody like what you said, you keep seeing them slip 5s in there, you got to go for them.
Exactly.
You just got to, you know?
No, that's very, very true.
Anyway,
I mean, it's a very enjoyable game. I just think the more the merrier myself.
All right, that's it. That's our video review of The Godfather Corleone's Empire. We actually had a lot more to tell you, but the camera shut off and we didn't know it until about 3 a.m. when I started editing this video. So instead of asking Rod to come back over and shoot the whole thing over again, I just decided to go with it. But at the end of our video, we wanted to tell you what you guys gave this rating. It was an overall green rating. Most people said that you should go buy this game, and so take that for what you will. But anyways, I wanted to take this opportunity to tell you about something very exciting. I have in my hand Dinosaur Island, the deluxe copy, and that would be awesome for me, but there's also something very exciting for you, and that I have a second copy of this game that I want to give away. So the contest should be live right now, and if you're interested, just go to our website, boardgamecloset.com, click on contest, and you can find out all the easy ways for you to enter to win your very own deluxe edition copy of an awesome game that just came out and is pretty expensive on eBay right now. Check it out for yourself. But instead of paying a lot on eBay, you can get your own free copy in our contest. So check it out, boardgamecloset.com.